Hi, this is Danny Hammond, and I just did a video, or I'm doing this video, uh, because I've got a little lag here while I'm trying to finish the one that's going to end up being a big part of how we're going to teach, because this case has everything in it that I think I've ever done. I may be missing something, but certainly the good things, are in it. And I'm right at the stage of motion for summary judgment that I'm doing. And I have seen every sign in the world that the federal judge in the it's in federal court. We have a federal judge and the defendant. You know, the borrowers are now the plaintiffs for sure. The defendant is the state court judge that lost his mind. I think I told you about him earlier. Um, my whole the whole difference, what made the biggest difference once I laid everything out and said, hey, this is what I should have been doing all along. um as i as I did that, I also then, it took me a while to see that I had to change the way I was thinking about it. We're all too polite. I decided that the judge, actually I decided that this is not in 2015. I just couldn't figure out how to do it. There we couldn't. Tom Kibler is one of the best researchers I've ever seen. Um, and you know he's a real advocate. And I'm a writer. I want to attack the judges one at a time. So we've got Tom, and he's in several groups, and they're attacking this as, um, why is there no oversight in American government, American statute, um, for oversight of a judge? If a judge makes a wrong ruling, you know, um, he's the one that decides it, and you're not going to win no matter what you say. You can't find anything that's going to scare him. But I did, yet I still wasn't winning that way, and I changed it using psychology, brute force, and great speed, moving faster than they could think. I did what I'd been wanting to do, is make the judge just as nervous and just as upset as the borrower. That's a fair fight. And I overdid it with this judge. I mean, he went ahead and committed crimes in the eviction portion that um, that it's going to make a real good story. um, and I'm going to talk more about a real good story another time. And right now, I didn't hear. I just posted. There are posts, and people ask me where they are. Well, they're right below the videos, and there's several things. And it's just in a line, and it says post. And I have one post that has 5 subjects in it, and it's 5 different links, and they all go to my website, but they're all related to things that I'm watching you guys turn into me, or I hear you say, or I'm watching in the comments, and you're confusing yourself to death with things that won't work. And you're working really hard with things that don't work. And I'm sorry that you're doing that. I did it too. And it really hurts if you've done it a long time and then you go, I was doing it wrong. I've got to throw it all away. Part of that is that we're gonna one of the accusations we're making is that there is no case at all, that they don't have any case. There was no foreclosure. There's not about to be a foreclosure. You may get evicted, but that's going to be a wrongful eviction because they there is no foreclosing party in your deal, and that's what I see confusing everyone. Um, it's the As I look at it, I'll have to ask 2 or 3 times, why? Who's your forcing? Who's on the reply? Is it just some attorneys? They're not the foreclosing party, and so the foreclosing party has to make a claim, and it has to be a claim that is already, you know, that it's unassailable. They have to, that you have, we all, I did this, we think that because they're attacking us, they're going to take our homes, that we've got to find the statute, the law. We can all find good law. None of you guys are wrong. If you were in 1998, 1999 is when Glass-Steagall was repealed, and that was all the regulation on Wall Street, and which means what? Uh, they had to have replaced it, except they didn't. That's why this has gone on since 1999. That's 26 years. Um, so anyway, I've also answered a couple others. I've been asked this question quite a bit lately. Is that this must be a new deal going around, but it's gone around off and on, and then it's like things fade away and they come back. But anyway, the question has kind of been my state. The lawyers are telling me, or the bankers, or the servicer, or whatever, or Mickey Mouse, whatever character you're talking to, they're saying that in our state, and I've heard it, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey. I've heard it. I've heard it so much lately that I've got to talk about it. Is that they're saying that if the foreclosing party, and first of all, they've got to prove they're the foreclosing party. That's the first thing. It's unbreakable unless somebody's helping you, and the state judge is the one most likely doing it. That's why we went to federal court, and the federal court, that environment is so. I mean, they are, and they're the ones that got me. Federal court is what got me $3 million. Um, but right now, they're lining up to stop Trump, and Trump has gotten further than anyone that has no brain whatsoever. I mean, he's a walking cadaver, and he's pulling off. But it's because he's got Russell Vought. Look up who that is. Terrible, terrible people that they want a Hitler-style autocracy. Somebody told me, Danny, you shouldn't talk about politics so much. You should stick with it. I said, politics. What's causing what's going on right now is that no one stopped them from doing what they're doing to us. We have a bigger problem. We have the biggest problem of all. Trump can be stopped, and he's a huge problem. But the guys that started our problem that no one ever fixed, that's why it never got better. It never got better. It used to be a middle class, a big giant middle class, and then kind of a small, really rich people and kind of small poor. Right now, it's a lot of poor and a lot of rich, best I can tell. Okay, so anyway, the foreclosing party can, if they have the mortgage, that they can foreclose. This is what I'm hearing, and this people. I had a couple of women call me crying, and what are we going to do about that? I said, read the rest of it. That part is in every state in the union. That's in all 50 states. And what it is, that's a sentence in a paragraph and a paragraph underneath it, and they're all pretty much identical. I mean, they're almost word for word. There's an if after that. If the mortgage was obtained legally, and if the mortgage can be proved up that the foreclosing party holding that mortgage, if they got it by somehow getting the note, and the note is nothing but the contract, the mortgage is nothing. It's nothing. Without the note, it is literally nothing. So you still have to present the note, or if you don't, you have to present concrete and particularized proof, the same proof as for everything else. You have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you owned it, but how did they get it and why don't they have it? I've never seen any of them even get involved. I've seen a lot of houses lost, but I've never seen the foreclosing party show and demonstrate where they got it. How did they buy the loan? Let's just call it the loan. It's the debt, the remaining debt. Um, and so this deal about my state says you can foreclose if you have the mortgage and you can prove it up. And I'm using the word prove it up. If you read it, it's like you've got to absolutely prove that there is no doubt that you are the owner of the loan, and therefore you have a right to collect. It's not the right to foreclose; it's the right to collect money that you owe because it was given to you and you signed for it and promised in that signing that you would pay it back. They've got a tough burden, and none of them are doing it. How could I win 16 in a row when I never, you know, that may be my total before that. Um, and it's because that I'm hammering on each of these things that they are ignoring. I have in here also, and it's about a case called Rick Slorp, and that's about this thing I've been saying that has to do with Carpenter versus Longin. All of this is in my website, all of it. Um, and it's the assignment of the security instrument, which is a mortgage or a deed of trust. They're really just a security instrument, and they don't even in that mortgage that you see or the deed of trust in your pile of papers you sign. It's like 30 some pages. It looks like really something, but all it is the agreement of what will be used as collateral to uh, to give the bank some security. They're giving you money. They want to, they don't think you can pay it back. Not all at once, maybe never. But if the house should always cover the loan, and that's what they're trying to do. So it's the agreement of what you'll give up easily because it's part of the deal that you made. Um, if you that they can that you give up easily if you become unable to pay, and it was never about you use the mortgage to foreclose. It's that you're using the mortgage in case that ever happens, but you're really holding it. Somebody's supposed to be holding. It's really supposed to be just the security that when you pay it off, you then get the note back marked paid, and that they're not going to that point, and it's not even the right guy. You know, whoever signed all your documents, whoever signed all your documents, that's um, your lender, but it's really a broker. How many banks? Look at my list. I've got a list. I don't know. There's 100 of them that I've dealt with, 100 names. There's no banks in there. The Wilmingtons. You guys give me names that it gives me the creeps. It was from so long ago. They've been doing it ever since, but they're using the same names over and over, and they just switch them around. It's like Hot Wheels. By the way, Jasmine Crockett. No, I'm not going to tell that one. So that's it. You should look at my post. You should get the link and you should read it. These are the things I'm worried about, you guys. How am I going to turn you around? Because if you resist it too much, like if you start bringing me that thing about when you were born, you had, somebody had $100,000 as you were born, what was it in your billfold or where? If I'd have had $100,000, and I think I've said this recently, my dad would have taken it. He wouldn't have let that baby have that $100,000 or whatever the number is. If we get into any of those, then I can't help you. I'm using the Constitution, and I'm using only the Constitution. I'm using law to beat them over the head with it, but I'm using the Constitution, and it's unbreakable because and why I've read so many. I even got this from a constitutional scholar. Um, oh God, I've lost an important Adam Levinson. And at the time, he was, I believe, the dean of law at um, Georgetown. And I read a white paper, and I called him, and he answered. I couldn't believe that. And he talked to me for an hour. And it kind of at the end, it was kind of like, if you know all this, why aren't you doing something about it? He goes, I had to learn it and I wrote it. He said, it's for people like you to do something now. It's my part. And I'm keep wondering, well, then when's my part over? And I guess I'm right at it right now. So, those things, and if you can read the Rick Slorp one, you will find, and just make it easy. It's long, but make it easy. And they explain it very, very carefully that you can't use the assignment, and it. Here's the deal. They were saying that since you're not part of the other contract, whatever the other contract was, what was being said and what was keeping everyone from doing anything is that there was this deal that we all believed, and we fought it anyway, and we finally beat it. And Rick Slorp is what beat it. They were saying that the borrower can't challenge the assignment even if they believe it's wrong. You can't. You have 5 assignments of a mortgage, and you can't even do it one time. And so none of those are worth anything. So there never was a case, and you never were going to get foreclosed. But if you believed it, then, or if you couldn't, this is what Tom did. While I was doing writing the words, while I was learning that, Tom was out there pounding around trying to find oversight. He proved to me there is no oversight in government for the judiciary. Um, these bar associations, they should kick them out. Who are they? Uh, and right now, it's the Supreme Court's the problem, and it's the justices of the in the district courts. That's where things start. Um, that they're packing in, and they've even told the Supreme Court, you can't do this. We can't rule with the things you're giving us, and you're just giving us stuff that Trump gave you, and that is what's happening. And I'm not going any further now, but I don't find that political at all. I find it just a crime story, the one that we're living in. We're living in that crime story. Everything I've just talked about could never have happened unless Glass-Steagall was repealed in 1999. I never saw anything even close to this. No, not within the thousands of times. I never saw it. Cheating then was nothing compared to cheating today. It's like kind of normal cheating. Like man has got some flaws, but anyway, okay, so that's it for now. I'd like you guys to look those over. Those are the things I'm seeing that I'm worrying. I can't turn you around. I'm not worrying. I'm I'm preparing you. I want you to start thinking of those things. You know, some of them are easy to think about, some are harder, but to think about those things that are so different from what you're thinking. There is no case, so we don't want to talk about the case. They don't have a note, so we don't want to go looking for the note. You got a forensic audit. That's You're testifying that you believe there was a note. It was nothing, and I did all this too. I did it too. Um, Only I just kept going where everybody else stopped. Um, I don't know. Keep wondering. I don't see anybody on the internet that's trying to do the right thing at all. I mean, I don't even see very many people. And it's because not very people don't know it because it didn't happen to them, or it happened so long ago they don't want to think about it. We're not sympathetic. We are not a sympathetic issue. Um, so what we have to be is a YouTube issue, you know, and and the workshops is because I don't think you guys are learning on videos. I think you'd rather watch them, and you think when they're right, but it doesn't help you assemble it. Assembling it was my problem. You know, I'd get to this point, I'd go, well, I got to be there now, and I wasn't. I had to, and everything was right up to there. I mean, it was still standing on the same base, but I had to get all the way up to where I am now, and that is a summary judgment by a federal judge on a judge that lost his mind, and there's a lot of there's a lot of characters in this that have money that we know, and others that are running. We can't get a hold of them. and I think this is never going to end, but I can end the case and get the people back in their house, $800,000 house, and a lot of relatives living in it. You know, they're all related, and they're older, and they were tortured and terrible things. Yeah, I'm, I'll go through it later. Anyway, so that's a final. What I'm going to do in a little bit is I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to do it at 7:15. Um, I'm going to do a Zoom meeting, and it's called a personal meeting. There is no waiting room. By the way, there wasn't a waiting room. I I found out that there are some Motorola phones and some Samsungs that don't that didn't have the meeting um, control board, and there was no waiting room. So when everybody was waiting on me, and I was looking for it, and I've done Zoom quite a bit. I mean, I did a lot of real estate classes and self-directed IRA classes, and so anyway, somebody said for me to look at to look at the app on my mobile phone, and it looked like it's got everything. So I could see that being different. So I'm going to try a mobile phone at 7:15 exactly. If you try to get in, there is no code. You're just in. I'm going to have it on, and I'm going to probably see somebody's in. You know that you've logged in. I'll probably be able to see your name. I don't even know that. So this is a test. But when we do the test, I'm going to let you ask me questions for an hour or so, and I'm going to make up some answers. No, yeah, I am. Anyway, so I still don't have a that producer that turns it off. So I'm going to try to do that now. If you can't get if you try for 20 minutes or 15 minutes and I haven't figured it out, then there's still something I can't do. I'm not as upset about that now. I was upset because I had so much to do in this other case. And I do tomorrow. I can't even talk to anybody tomorrow. I'm going to turn my phones off because I have to get it done, have to get it in and filed on Monday. Um, so, but today we can do a practice Zoom, which will help set us up. And this case that I'm trying to close is the case that we need. It's the best. It's the best thing I've done. It's the best thing I've seen, but I've not ever seen very many because I don't know anybody else doing it. So I'm going to still turn it off. I'm talking too much. I got to go. Bye.